Wednesday show, Wednesday show, Wednesday show. Hello, everybody. Maybe, hopefully. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're even there. Let's switch these cups around because that one you can't see. This one you can't see. There we go. Hello, thank you. Thank you. Although I wish I was still at Disneyland. Not gonna lie. Hey Matt, how you doing? It was such a fun. Oh my gosh, it was such a fun week. Such a crazy, exhausting, unbelievably entertaining, unbelievable week. Absolutely unbelievable week. We're gonna be talking all about it today. So come join us and start throwing questions into the comments. We're gonna go through and answer as many questions as we can over the next hour here about anything, or not about anything and everything, about the trip, about the crazy challenge, about the everything else. Hola, hello. You have a cruise coming up to not. I will not rest on the cruise. We've got 26 days until the cruise. What? That's crazy. Oh, it's so much to do though. So much to do in between now and the cruise. We're doing it. We're making things happen the way that we've been trying to make things happen for years. Things are happening. So things are happening right now. I'm extremely excited. I'm resting a bit. You can rest all you want, Eric, but you know I'm not going to be resting that much on that cruise. But I desperately need like just a day of rest and relaxation and doing nothing. Even today was my first day where I was like home the whole day, and I was like, oh, where I have the chance to be home all day. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll sleep in. And then at work we've had a group of girls from Thailand in, and they refer to me as their father. And today was 3 of their last days. So I spent the day with them. So I did not sleep as much as I was hoping to today. Just plop me down with the ice cream stand. That'll be good. Done and done. We're going to have to find all the details, though. I need to find all the details. All right, let's get this party started. We're going to be starting the 679th, that's an insane number, episode of the Wednesday Show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 679th episode of the Wednesday Show. Today is August 24th, 2022, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be going through and talking about a recap of our Disneyland adventures along with the Walt Disney Family Museum, and of course this little thing that we did called the Crazy Challenge. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, thank you everyone who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday right on the From Screen to Theme Facebook page, we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. This past week, we came to you guys live from Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. I was going to say Cosmic Rewind, but I was like, that's not right. You never know where we're going to be, so make sure you join us every single Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. You never know where we're going to be. I have no idea. I don't even know which park I have for Saturday yet. So make sure you join us every single Saturday for that fun. If you didn't know, and I don't know how you didn't know, but if you didn't know, we are doing a daily Disney video over on my YouTube channel. Some of you guys are watching from my YouTube channel right now, and thank you. I appreciate that because every time you watch on the YouTube channel, it helps me out greatly. So thank you everyone out there who's been checking out our YouTube videos and sharing them, commenting on them, liking them, and all that other fun stuff. We did release our crazy challenge of all time this past Friday. It is doing extremely well. It just passed over the 800 view mark earlier today. So make sure you keep on watching, keep on sharing, keep on liking. Let's hit that. Let's hit the 1,000 mark before Friday comes around again. So let's try to hit 1,000 views in the first 7 days. So keep on watching, keep on sharing, keep on liking. I appreciate every single person out there who has been going through and sharing all of it around. And of course, as always, tonight is I just completely lost my train of thought. Tonight's episode is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel. Bling. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All of their services are absolutely positively 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. Whew. Okay, let's get to this. I just dropped the ball that we use for the bounce. So now we're going to use the blue one for later on when we close out tonight. So let's get this party started. We're going to be talking all about, like I said, the trip, the Disneyland trip, the Disney cruise, or not the Disney cruise line. That's going to be in a few weeks. The Walt Disney Family Museum, and of course the Crazy Challenge. I've had a lot of people who've been asking me questions about all three over the last few days here. So this is your chance. If you guys want to start throwing things into the comments below, we will start going through and answering your comments. We are going to start off with the Crazy Challenge because it's the thing that came first. Then we're going to go to Disneyland because it's the thing that came second. And then we will wrap up with the Walt Disney Family Museum. As we go through here, we'll answer any and all questions as possible. So let's start off with the Crazy Challenge because the Crazy Challenge, it felt so good last week to finally talk about it because we were planning it for so long. If you did not already know, or if you couldn't figure it out, we put a lot of stuff into this challenge. Like a lot of our resources went into this challenge. With both time, money, a lot of money. We spent a lot of money on this challenge, and a lot of other stuff. Unfortunately, if you have not watched it yet, well, you're spoiler alert, but still go watch the video because I've had a lot of people, and this honestly. The greatest compliment I've received this past week about the challenge is one that people are like, I was on pins and needles the whole time. Amazing, because I was hoping that that's what was going to come across when people were watching the Crazy Challenge. And two, that even though we did not succeed, that it was still an amazing effort and it was an amazing video. So I had some people who were like, oh, if you didn't watch it, or if you didn't succeed, I don't want to watch it. Please, even if you know what the outcome is, please keep on checking it out because like I said, it was not a cheap challenge for us to do. Now, let's first talk about how we pulled it off. Because we even though we did not succeed in the way that we wanted to succeed, I feel like we were more successful than a lot of people thought we were going to be successful at. Because one, we did 15 attractions at the Magic Kingdom before 11:30. Like from 8:30 to 11:30, we had done 15 attractions. That one of those include the monorail. So 14 attractions from 8:30 to 11:30. But it was an insane day. It was a crazy day. And we had planned everything to the T. Now, one of the things that people keep on coming up and saying, Brian, can you please tell us about blah, 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 blah. One of the things that people keep on saying is how on earth were you able to pull off Magic Kingdom? Because I've gone to Magic Kingdom all day long and I've never been able to do 15 attractions, much less the 15 attractions you did, because we were able to pull off Peter Pan's Flight, huge one, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise. All 6 of those usually have a long wait. In addition to that, we also have Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which usually has a decent size wait. Buzz Lightyear usually has a decent size wait, and then Astro Orbiter, Speedway, medium size waits, and then of course a few of the smaller ones that sometimes have waits, sometimes don't. It really depends on the day, which would be Dumbo, Mad Tea Party, the Carousel, and It's a Small World. So we went through and we did multiple test runs. We were waking up at like 8 o'clock every single morning and checking out wait times from 9 o'clock until 12 o'clock most days, just kind of seeing exactly how the pattern would lie and where we would need to go first, second, third, and fourth. So we just kind of had an idea in our head of how it works. So what we were doing during the Crazy Challenge is, one, we had done 2 test runs prior to this during the hours of 8:30 to 9 o'clock or 8:30 to 11:30 technically, to kind of see how it would work. Now, the first time we did the test run, we had it so my pass was linked up to Frank's pass. And then in addition to that, Frank's 3 kids also were doing the test run with us. So we had 5 of us all together. And I said, well, I'm linked up to one of his kids, but I'm not linked up to the other kids. And I said, Frank, you need to have it so you're the one who's in charge of the fast passes. And he forgot to go on right away at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I made it very clear that we had to get Jungle Cruise right away, because Jungle Cruise is the one attraction right now that is filling up immediately. So as soon as you get to the Jungle Cruise, like in the day, it fills up like crazy, and it's ever since that movie came out. So the first time we did the test run, unfortunately, we did not get the Jungle Cruise right away, and we never got it. So that first day we did, in order, this is the order that we went in, we did Space Mountain, Buzz Lightyear, Astro Orbiter, and then we went to Jungle Cruise, and we waited for like an hour for Jungle Cruise. By the time we finished that, we went on Pirates of the Caribbean, and then I think we got a fast pass for like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and then we made our way to Small World, Carousel, Mad Tea Party, and Dumbo. And by that time, we were done. Like, we ran out of time. So we realized quickly that we had to get Jungle Cruise as the first fast pass, or the Lightning Lane, I should say, during the challenge. And after a lot of preparation, a lot of figuring it out, we realized the perfect way to go around the park was by doing I'm trying to think of how it was. Space Mountain Astro Orbiter, not Buzz Lightyear first. Space Mountain, Astro Orbiter, Buzz Lightyear, the Speedway. So you can actually hit those 4 before 9:30 if you hit them the right spots. So or by 9 o'clock. So we were able to do that. We got a fast pass or Lightning Lane for Jungle Cruise, but then Jungle Cruise was down. So our fast pass was null. We could use it for anything else. So we changed it to Splash Mountain. Then Splash Mountain was down. So we're on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad during the actual day. This is the actual day. This is last Thursday. We're on Big Thunder. 2 attractions are down. We're trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do, because now we can't go in the order that we wanted to go in. We wanted to have it so we would be done with Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, Splash Mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. We wanted to have it so we could get that whole side of the park done and then kind of move on from there. Unfortunately, we could not do that. So we were able to hop on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and then we were able to go to Pirates of the Caribbean and do a walk-on for that. Shortly after that, we kept on having it so like popped up like saying you can get a Splash Mountain Fast Pass, but you can't really use it at that point. So we went from there, and then we made our way over to Fantasyland, and we were able to hit a bunch of attractions in Fantasyland until eventually we had a fast pass for Peter Pan's Flight that we were able to use, and then we were able to use that and transfer it to the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which we needed to use, and that had a long line the first time we went in there. And then from there, we also went over to we were able to get a Splash Mountain, and we were able to get a Jungle Cruise. So it worked out in our favor. I don't know how, but it was able to work out in our favor in the long run. Now, I have had a few people who've asked me about that part of the day, because if you watch my video, I do say, oh, our friend Ashley is with us today. Ashley mainly just wanted to go on a few rides. That was literally the main reason she joined us. She did not run from ride to ride with us. What we did do is we had it so if we needed water, if we needed fuel rods, which I needed fuel rods to have it so we were recharging and constantly being able to film, I would give that to her during attractions that she was not going to go on, and then she would meet us at the next spot with the fuel rods so I could go through. And she also did pick up water from me one time. But even if she didn't pick up the water, if she didn't pick up the fuel rods, we still would have been able to make it in time for our flight. We made it to our flight. We made it to the gate literally right when they were calling gate or A1, and we were A1 and A2. So we made it on the flight, and then we went to Austin. And Austin is the reason of my hatred for, I hate Austin. Absolutely. I've never been to Austin besides the airport. I absolutely hate Austin with a passion. Oh my gosh, I hate Austin. I apologize if you're from Austin, but I hate your city so much. So we got to Austin. Our flight was delayed. Our flight was delayed because of weather on the East Coast. We flew around the weather. It was in the Gulf of Mexico. We flew around it, but our flight was coming in from the East Coast to go off to Santa Ana, aka John Wayne Airport. So because of that, we were stuck there forever. Now, during that 6-hour layover, and it was 6 hours that we were there, during that 6-hour layover, the things that we did do was we tried to get on an LAX flight. They said, we'll put you on standby. They put us on standby, but they were unfortunately only allowed to put one of us on the flight, and we had to stay together. So because of that, Frank, and I almost said goodbye, Frank, but We had to go and we found a flight to Long Beach, and then a Long Beach flight kept on getting delayed and getting delayed, until eventually got to the point where our Santa Ana flight was going to be the quickest flight still to get there. So the flight left about 3.5, 4 hours later than it was supposed to. We were supposed to be there for about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours tops. And unfortunately, because of flight delays, we were there forever. In addition to that, we did sit on the Orlando tarmac for over an hour, just waiting to take off. So it was a very, very long day in Austin. What we did do is we had Salt Lake barbecue, which was actually a very good barbecue. If you're ever in the Austin airport trying to figure out what to do, I suggest that. In addition to that, we had ice cream. Ice cream was good too. We made it our way over to Disneyland, and when we got to Disneyland, our friend Daniel was waiting to pick us up, and he also brought all of our luggage up to our room while we were running around like crazy people. When we got to Disneyland, there was traffic in front of Disneyland that went for like blocks. So we actually got out and we sprinted down the street like crazy. I didn't film that part because we were so just determined to get into the park and try to still possibly hit all 15 attractions that we had to hit. When we got into Disneyland, our plan, and the plan, I now look back and I was like, oh, we made one small mistake that we could have possibly gotten a little bit faster. Our plan was to go straight to Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh because it's the furthest one out, and then make our way around in a circle until we got to Tomorrowland. When we were in the park, Frank and I got separated right away. When we went through the gate, he didn't see me go to the right. He started going to the left. So I was like already on the right-hand side. So I sprinted and was hopeful that we would be reunited. We both knew we were going to Winnie the Pooh. But if we didn't get separated when we went past Jungle Cruise, I would have taken us on Jungle Cruise right then and there, because there was almost no wait at all. And but we almost made it there. I mean, we were able to do Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Splash Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Peter Pan's Flight, Dumbo, the Carousel, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and It's a Small World. So the only ones we missed over there was Jungle Cruise, Autopia, Space Mountain, the Monorail, Buzz Lightyear, and Astro Orbiter. Those are the 6 attractions that we missed on over there. Overall, even though we did not succeed and we did not get all the attractions done, I am still extremely happy with our efforts. One of those things that people asked last week, are you going to be mad if you don't succeed? And I said, if it comes down to something that's out of our control and that's why we don't win, I can't be upset. And honestly, like, it's a little frustrating, but it's not one of those things where it's not like the last week I've been like, oh, why? What? The last week I've been like, you know what? We did the best that we could. And actually, I don't think anyone could have done as well as we did. We had prepped. We had done everything the way that we wanted to get things prepped. But unfortunately, it was a flight delay. The flight delay killed us. And it's the first time ever. I'm a huge fan of The Amazing Race. And there's times where I watch The Amazing Race and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it must be so heartbreaking to lose because of a flight delay. And now that I've gone through this, I'm like, you know what? It's heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's not, at least it's not something that you did. And that's not why you missed out. So we missed it because of a flight delay. If we had an extra hour, I'm convinced if we had one more hour, we would have been able to hit it, hit all the attractions because we had things down to a T. But unfortunately, a flight delay killed us, and that's the bottom line. If we did not have that flight delay, we would be celebrating right now a whole lot more than we already are. Okay, let's go through. See if any questions about that. Also, I'd like to point out, yeah, Eric did say last week that we're going to miss 6 attractions, and he was actually right. What was your friend's reaction when he found it? Okay, this is one of those things we did bring up last week. So this is actually really funny. Okay, so our friend, he knew he was going to pick us up from the airport, but last week after the Wednesday show, I left here. I went to Grand Floridian. We stayed at Grand Floridian the night before, and we went on and talked to Daniel. And we said, okay, Daniel, like this is what's going on. You're going to pick us up from the airport. He's like, yeah, I know. And I said, okay, then you're going to drop us off at the front gates at Disneyland. And he's like, oh, okay. I did not know we were going to do that, but okay. He's like, that's fine. And then I was like, I'm not going to bring up the luggage thing until we're actually in there and point out to them that we have to have it so he brings the luggage up. And then Frank was in the restroom getting ready for bed. So he missed the conversation. Then he comes out. He's like, hey, did Brent tell you about how we need you to bring your luggage up to the room? I'm like, why? So yeah, he was like, oh, he's like, so apparently I'm your chauffeur now. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So he did really well with it. And actually, I was extremely impressed because he met up with us at Pirates of the Caribbean. So we only did 2 attractions in the time that it took him to drop us off a few blocks early, and then he went all the way around traffic. We had stayed at Paradise Pier the first night. So he got to Paradise Pier, brought the luggage up, and then I was pretty impressed with him. Like, he did an extremely good job. I get it. Do you think you'll do direct flights if you try again? We tried to get direct flights for this one. Do not get me wrong. We had a direct flight originally, and it got canceled, like, because there's just an airplane shortage right now. So our original, there was only one flight that was a direct flight from here to Santa Ana that would actually fit into the time gap. We had it, and then we lost it. Like, it was, unfortunately, your flight's not going there anymore. So, here's your new flight information. You're going through Austin. There were 3 other flights that were direct flights from here to that area of California that day, but 2 of them left at 10 o'clock in the morning. One was 10 o'clock and one was 11 o'clock. So there's no way that we've been able to do the Magic Kingdom attractions by then. So we didn't book those ones. And then the only other one was at 6 o'clock at night. So by the time we would have landed in California, it would have been too late. So we said, unfortunately, none of these actually work for us. We would love to do a direct flight, but unfortunately, we just couldn't. Another thing is, one of Frank's clients asked us if we knew anyone with a private jet, and they said they knew some people with private jets, and they were actually trying to find us a private jet, but unfortunately, we didn't get a private jet. But we did say maybe in the future we will go and do a private jet. Do they at least reimburse you for your delayed flight? No, they don't. So airlines will not reimburse you unless it's their fault. This was all weather related. The trip out there and the trip back, I was delayed both times, and both times was because of weather. So because it's weather, and it's not anything that's in their control, they don't give you any reimbursement or anything like that. So unfortunately, yeah, we did not get any reimbursement whatsoever. Hey, Thomas. How you doing, buddy? That was such a beautiful, peaceful scenery outside Grand Floridian. Yes, it was. It's my favorite part of Magic Kingdom. Let's talk about, okay, any other questions before we get into our Disneyland part? Any other questions about the Crazy Challenge? I'll give you guys a few seconds. I'm going to take a drink of water. By the way, I signed up for my Springtime Surprise yesterday. Is anyone else going to the Springtime Surprise? The Run Disney race? Maybe, hopefully. I don't think we have any other questions about the Crazy Challenge. We are going to reattempt this one at some point. We're not sure when exactly. Frank is trying to... Oh, you had questions about I saw questions about Disneyland, but I didn't see any questions about the Crazy Challenge. I don't see your Crazy Challenge question. I see the other questions. Did I miss some? I see the Walt Disney Family Museum. I see Disneyland. I don't see any crazy questions. Oh, yeah. Why not start in California? Because if we start in California, we would lose 8 hours by traveling, opposed to losing 2 hours traveling the other way. Because it takes about 5 hours to go from and by the time, because if we start in California, if you start in California for the Crazy Challenge, by the time we would have to leave the park, it would be like, if let's say it's the same flight, it's a 105 flight, by the time we would actually get to Magic Kingdom or land, it would be 9 o'clock at night. So by the time we would actually get over to the park, it'd be like 9:30. So we'd only have maybe an hour and a half of getting through the park, if that. So you have to go Florida to California. Okay, let's go to the Disneyland portion. We have questions coming up. So for the Disneyland portion, we're going to kind of go through a few of the questions here. Oh, also, I had someone who wrote to me last week. And then I had like 3 other people ask me why we chose that day. The main reason we chose that day was because Frank he's out on business in California right now for 2 weeks. So he was saying, I want to go to Disney World one more time before I have to go out to California. And while we're doing it, we might as well do this crazy challenge that we've always talked about. So it was the only day that actually worked for both of us. And it was the only day that also worked for having Daniel be out there. And it was also the only day. We just needed it. It was the only opportunity was that day to actually go on there and do it. Okay. So Disneyland portion, we're not going to go into too much detail about it unless you guys want to ask a lot of questions, and we'll go through and answer all the questions. By the way, I did look beforehand. It was 1,839 was their subscriber count. So if we want to get some extra innings here, we just have to keep on increasing from that number. Let me just double check. I'm almost positive it was 1,839. It's taking forever to load right now. Oh my gosh, come on, load. Oh my gosh, it's just standing still right now. Okay, so the Disneyland portion. So besides it's just taking forever to load. So, there we go. As a valued YouTube creator, we invite you to help guide decisions about tools and features to help creator success. Would you like to take the survey? I will, but just not right now. We're still at 1,839. So if we get up to 1,840 or whatnot, we'll go into extra innings here tonight. So let's start off with Disneyland. So in Disneyland, we spent 2 days actually at the park in addition to the hour and 45 minutes we spent there on Thursday. On Friday, we went over to Disney California Adventure. And on Saturday, we went back over to Disneyland Park. Now, while we were there, the attractions that we went on, I'm going to try to remember the whole everything here. In Disney California Adventure, we did Guardians of the Galaxy, Web Slingers. Really like that ride. We did Web Slingers again. We did Radiator Springs Racers, the Incredicoaster, which I had never done before. I haven't been there since Pixar Pier became a thing. We did the Inside Out attraction. We did the carousel over there in the Pixar Pier section. Was that it? No. That might have been it. We also went to the Lamplight Lounge. I feel like I'm missing an attraction. That might be it. Over in Disneyland on that second day, we went over and we did Indiana Jones. We also did nothing. No, we did. We went to Galaxy's Edge. It was so weird. It was so weird going to Galaxy's Edge because I'm so used to going to Galaxy's Edge here all the time. And it was so weird walking into Galaxy's Edge and looking around because I was like, wait, did I just transport 2 days ago when I was at Galaxy's Edge here in Florida? It was the weird, like it really was the weirdest thing. It was so weird. Like I did like a story on my Instagram and I had some people who were like, You're really exaggerating how weird it is. I'm like, no, it was so like I could not get over it. And even when I wasn't recording, I kept on looking at the people I was with. I was like, this is the weird. Like it's so weird. Matt, I think was in the chat room. Matt was there. Matt could tell you. I constantly was saying this is so weird. This is so weird. But we did Smuggler's Run over there, and then we did Big Thunder Mountain Railroad again. And then we did the new Snow White ride. Really good ride. I got a video footage of it. It's going to be going live in the next few days. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Pinocchio's Daring Journey. We did Casey Jr., the Storybook Canal boats. We did the train. We did Autopia. We did the monorail. By the way, the monorail is an attraction over there. We did Space Mountain. We did Buzz Lightyear, and we did something else, and I'm just drawing a blank on what it was right now. So overall, really fun trip. Really good time at Disneyland. So let's go to questions here. I've never been to Disneyland. How is it different than the Magic Kingdom? Completely different. People, it's funny because you will, like, I've preached this to people in Disneyland. I've preached this to people in Disney World. They're nothing alike. Like, people will be like, oh, they're the same kind of park. There's similarities, but there's no attraction that's identical in either park. Like, you can go on Big Thunder Mountain there and go to Big Thunder Mountain here, and you're going to have two completely different experiences. Yes, there's a lot of similarities, but they're two completely different experiences. Same thing with, like, Peter Pan's Flight. Peter Pan's Flight, completely different attraction out there compared to what it is here. Even though, yes, you're going to be sitting inside a pirate ship, you're going to be flying over London, flying over Neverland, but the experiences are two completely different experiences. So if you've never been to Disneyland because you say, oh, you think that's going to be the same as Magic Kingdom, go to Disneyland. It's a completely different park. There are similarities, but overall, it is so much different. And I even talked to someone out there when I was buying merchandise. I said, oh, yeah, I live by Disney World. And they said, oh, I'm going out there in October, but, we don't think we're going to go to Magic Kingdom at all because we've been to that park. I'm like, no, you haven't been to the park. If you've never been to Walt Disney World, you've never been to that park, because Magic Kingdom and Disneyland are so different. Like, even just going like through New Orleans Square, it's such a cool experience because you feel like you're in a completely different city than being right there in Anaheim. So yeah, there is so much different. Like, there's similar attractions, but no attractions the same. The only ones that are going to be same or similar would be like Smuggler's Run, Star Tours, or Rise of the Resistance. Although I didn't even do Rise of the Resistance, but I've heard it's the same. But even those have there's still a different feel to it. There's different everything to it. So yeah, completely different experience on both ones. Did you get videos of the Disneyland resorts? Unfortunately, no. So the way I was going to do like a walkthrough video of all three spots or all three resorts, because we actually stayed Paradise Pier the first night, we stayed at Disneyland Hotel the second night, and we stayed at Grand California the third night. We literally did all three resorts. I was going to do video footage, but by the time we got to Paradise Pier, it was so late. Like, it was literally like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we've been up for 22 hours straight at that point. And I still had to edit my Crazy Challenge video. So I got home and got to the hotel room, and I was up for another 2 to 3 hours editing. It was a long day. So because of that, I never got any footage at Paradise Pier. I barely even remember staying at Paradise Pier, besides the fact that it was like, but we finished there. Then we went over to Disneyland Hotel and we checked in, but we couldn't check our luggage. So we dropped our luggage off, and then we went back to the room later in the day because I had a few people we were with. It was Frank Daniel and myself, along with two of our friends, met up with us for the day. And Frank and our friends wanted to go back to the room, just kind of relax for a little bit. And I had my laptop still with me because I was uploading the Crazy Challenge on my YouTube, but the only way I could do that without missing the park was by walking around the park with my YouTube channel or my video open, trying to download it or upload it to YouTube. So I was like, I want to get my laptop in the hotel room as quickly as I can too. So we went back to that room. When we got there, our keys weren't working, so everyone stayed down except for Frank and I. We went down to the lobby, and we talked with the cast member there for a while. So by the time we got up there, everyone just wanted to like get in the room. I did get one video footage of the Disneyland Hotel, and that was the board. There's like the headboard of the beds, and they light up with fireworks. I did get a video footage of that. That will be a YouTube short sometime in the near future as well. So make sure you watch out for that one too. So yeah, and then when we went to Grand Californian, we checked in early in the morning. We left Disneyland Hotel, checked into Grand Californian, and we spent the entire day at Disneyland. And while we were there, Frank went back because he had to do some work. So he was like on the phone with clients. So he went back for a few hours, and Daniel and I never even got inside of the room until 1 o'clock in the morning after the parks had closed, and we got up there. And again, it was the same thing every single day. I was getting back and then editing videos, and then we would head off to bed from there. And then for that one, like we woke up and at 6 o'clock in the morning because we had to take a flight up to San Francisco or to Oakland to do the next one. So yeah, crazy amount of time, crazy amount of little time to spend there. It was one of those things though, doing the entire crazy challenge and then doing the parks. By the end of the first day of California Adventure, Daniel and I were walking out of the park, and I just looked at him and I said, this is too short. Like, this is way too short of a trip, because I love those parks. Like, I love Disney World. I love Disney World. It's my favorite parks, but there's something special about Disneyland. And anytime I can spend time in Disneyland, I'll spend the time in Disneyland. And it just was way too short of a time to be out in Disneyland. Okay, let's go to the next question. Favorite part of Avengers Campus? I really liked Web Slingers. Obviously, I have the hat for it on my head right now. Avengers Campus was a really cool area that I had never been in before. I mean, it's relatively new, but there were so many cool details there. I really like the Spider-Man show too. So in addition to the Spider-Man, the Web Slingers attraction, they also have like a Spider-Man show where Spider-Man like climbs up the building. I posted that on my YouTube the other day. That is a really, 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 really cool experience that I absolutely loved. And I think it's just such a cool, like you felt like you were walking around and there was just Marvel characters like there. Like you felt like you were actually at a spot where these people work and live and play. And overall, I think that was like the coolest part of Avengers Campus. The fact that you kind of felt like you were inside of an Avengers movie. So yeah, I would say Web Slingers was probably my favorite part. And one of those things that I did, there were some things in there that I was like, oh, I want to get more video footage. I didn't have enough time. I really didn't have enough time. There were so many things that I wanted to point out on video, and I need more time. I just need more time. You looked like a star walking through the park with Frank and Daniel playing you. We get them talking about how I looked like some sort of like mobster, and they were like my two henchmen. We were laughing about that one a lot when we're doing that one. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, we did Mr. Toad's twice. That's right, we did Mr. Toad's twice that same day. Is Guardians at California Adventure? Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is at California Adventure. It is the replacement for the Tower of Terror out there. I hated the Tower of Terror out there. If you've ever done the Tower of Terror here and then you went over and you did that one, I was like, this is just not like that great of a ride. I mean, it was still fun, but it just wasn't as good. The Guardians of the Galaxy attraction out there is amazing. I do like the one that's at Epcot better, but overall, I think it's a great attraction. Plus, Audiomatronic Rocket is really cool. Yeah, we did Storybook Canal Boats. I loved Storybook Canal Boats. Did you ride Soarin'? No, we didn't do Soarin'. We were talking about doing Soarin', and then we just kind of were scratched for time. We did watch World of Color. I forgot to point that out. We did watch World of Color. But we were going to do Soarin', and then we just didn't. And part of me was fine with that because I can do Soarin' today if I want to. So for attractions like that, Soarin' and Mickey's PhilharMagic, if it was a longer trip, definitely I would do it. If I was trying to hit every single attraction, I was kind of trying to hit every attraction. But if I knew that I was going to have more time to actually do all the attractions, 100% I would have gone over and done Soarin'. What's your favorite Fantasyland ride over there? Can I say all of them? Because Fantasyland over there is unbelievable. I as much as I love Peter Pan's Flight, I think Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is my favorite attraction out there. Period. Not just in Fantasyland, but of all the attractions there. Although I love Casey Jr. and I love Storybook Canal Boats. Both of those are amazing attractions, and I could ride those every day, all day, for the rest of my life and be perfectly happy. Oh, I love them all. Oh yeah, we rode teacups during the parade. Yes, thank you. I forgot we did. Oh yeah, we did. We got VIP seats for the Main Street Electrical Parade. So that was actually my favorite line was Justin. Justin, I don't know if you're on, but Justin, Frank kept on saying it afterwards about Justin said something down the lines of, when you go to the parks with Brent Dodge, magical things happen. Because we were trying to find a spot for the Main Street Electrical Parade, and while we were walking to try to find a spot for the Main Street Electrical Parade, there was some ground on the walkway. There was a walkway, but there were some spots that looked like they might be available, but I wasn't positive if you could sit there. And there was a guest relations person that was nearby, and I went up and I said, "Hey, is there any way we can sit here?" And he said, "How many are you in the party?" I think there was 7 of us at that point, 8 of us, 6 of us, some amount of us. And he said, "Come with me." And so it brought us over to a special VIP viewing area. So we actually got to sit down in chairs right in front of the castle to watch the Main Street Electrical Parade. It was pretty cool. It was actually very cool. Okay, let's keep on going here. How does the Grand California compare to Grand Floridian? Grand Californian is kind of like the Wilderness Lodge. It's got more of a Wilderness Lodge feel than the Grand Floridian feel. So if you've gone to the Wilderness Lodge before, that's kind of how the Grand Californian feels. It's a great resort, amazing resort, probably one of the best resorts of all time. Pim's Tasting Lab for me, we just walked in there. We didn't actually eat anything, so I want to go in there and explore more. I just need to get back there sometime in the near future. That was fun. There we go. Justin is here. Yay. Okay, let's go to the Disney Family Museum portion. Looks like we have no other questions here. If anyone has any questions about anything else, throw them into the comments below, and we'll go through and answer as many as possible here. Okay, so on Sunday, we flew up to Oakland, and then we went over to this Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco. So the first question here is, why is the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco? So the Walt Disney Family Museum is actually not associated with the Walt Disney Company at all. It's actually owned by the Walt Disney family. It is completely separated. Plus, they wanted to have it so there are interactions inside of the area that are helping the community out. So the main reasons they're in San Francisco is just because there was great room available in the Presidio section of San Francisco, and they were able to go through and kind of go through and do all this stuff. So, oh wait, we have other questions here. Did you ride the fun wheel? We did not do the fun wheel. Every time we went by, it was like a 45-minute wait. Yeah, so we went up and we did the Walt Disney Family Museum. Now, I had never done the Walt Disney Family Museum. My friend Frank, who did the challenge with me, him and I had talked about flying up there. At that point, his family lived in Northern California, so we had talked at one point about me flying up to his house, being with him, his wife, and his kids for a few days, and then driving down to San Francisco and doing the Walt Disney Family Museum, and then flying from there down to Disneyland. And that was going to be my birthday that year. Unfortunately, 10 days before my birthday was when COVID hit. So everything shut down. So I never had the chance to go over there when we had planned to go over there, but we were able to go there this time around. Now, the Walt Disney Family Museum, just like Disneyland, I just did not have enough time to go through and actually explore everything. Side note, I just thought of this because before we get into this one, Disneyland, the only things I bought that I purchased on this trip, because I was thinking I'd purchase some stuff at the Walt Disney Family Museum. So the only things I purchased in Disneyland was I purchased this, which is a popcorn bucket for the Main Street Electrical Parade. It's got this little banner that says 50 years, but in it, oh, that's stuck. Ah, there you go. But ready? Ooh, it lights up. And then after I had that, I said, well, if I had that, I need to have the sipper as well. So I got the sipper as well. And that one lights up as well. Overall, I'm happy with my purchase. I think they're great. And this is actually, you can drink from it. overall, really cool. I'm very happy with these places. I'm not even like joking at all. Absolutely love these things. So, anyways, we went to the Walt Disney Family Museum. The Walt Disney Family Museum was set up by Walt Disney's family, and it is still thriving to today. It's been around for about 10 years now. I can't remember the exact year. I do remember at one of the D23 Expos, that is when they started to promote it, saying, hey, you should check this out. It's going to be huge. So it starts off with the birth of Walt Disney, and then you go through his awards, and then you go through his childhood years, and then you eventually, after the childhood years, it goes to the Army, and after the Army, you eventually go through his actual career. So it starts off with the Alice comedies and makes its way all the way up until his death. It was a crazy experience, absolutely crazy experience. I did a video that I posted on my YouTube a few days ago, 2 days ago, and it is like a half-hour video, but the half-hour video is like just a small snippet of what I experienced there. So when you're going through, it's one of those things, you know Walt Disney's going to die. Like, you know he's going to die because he passed away years ago. So you know he's going to pass away in the end of this exhibit. And while you're going through it, when it gets to his death, it hits you like a bag of bricks. It's insane how much like the death, like, because you feel like you just went through his whole life. And then all of a sudden you're in the final room and it's all of these things about him dying. It's like different news programs. Oh, it's unbelievable. A lot of people I've talked to said that my favorite room would probably be the Parks room. I like the Parks room a lot, but there was a room right before that I really liked that had it. So you were like going through and there's like these things on the ground. You could push one, or not on the ground, but on the display. You would push one and then also it would play like a clip, or it would show you pictures. And I could go through that for hours. Like everything in that room, I could go through and just enjoy for hours, because everything in that room was just, it was so mesmerizing. The entire exhibit was so mesmerizing. Every person I talked to beforehand was saying, when you go through, you can't read everything. Like, as much as we know you're going to want to read everything, you can't read everything in this museum, because you're going to miss a whole lot at the end if you just sit there and you read a lot. And they were right, because after the first room, I think we spent 45 minutes in the first room, and the other two had been to the museum before, and they're like, Brent, we got to go. Like, you got to go to the next room. I was like, oh, well, but I'm still learning about his childhood. And there was nothing new that I learned there, but there was a lot of new things that I saw there, if that makes sense. So we were going through, we had a small little snack halfway through, because had been going since early in the morning. And while we were eating, Daniel says, have you learned anything new? And I said, not yet, but I've seen a lot of things I've never seen before and I've heard about before. So it was a very unique experience to just kind of be able to go through and see things. Like, there was pictures of like Flora and Elias Disney, and I was like, oh, I've never seen this before. And there was one where you hear Lillian Disney speak. Like, there's a sound clip, and I was like, I've heard her speak maybe 3 times ever. Like, all the sound clips I've heard of Lillian Disney, it's not this one. So there was a few different things in there that were clips, or audio clips or video clips that I've never seen before or never heard before. And that's what impressed me. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. Like, these are things I've never seen before. In addition to that, there was also a special exhibit going on, which was the Jungle Cruise exhibit. So we did go over there. That was still really good. It just was not as in-depth as what the Walt Disney Family Museum portion was, where you kind of go through and like you feel like you're really connected to the entire exhibit. This one, you felt connected to the film. I did buy the book. There was a Jungle Cruise book at the end that you could purchase, obviously. No, of course, I was like, haha, one please. But yeah, the entire exhibit was mind-boggling. Like, it was mind-blowing how much stuff was in both things. But the Jungle Cruise exhibit, I think maybe it was just because it was a 2-floor exhibit for one movie, that I was like, oh, it's nice. But some of the stuff that they had in there was things like, and then in the next thing, Mowgli comes across Baloo the bear, and so it was kind of going through and explaining the movie, and I was like, oh, I know the movie, like, so I don't need to know that part. But there were some parts of it where it was very entertaining that I really enjoyed. Okay, let's go here. Well, what was your favorite part of the Walt Disney Family Museum? Yeah, so that one room with like the little interactive stuff. I thought that was so much fun. The tiki bird. I loved the tiki bird. The only part I didn't like about the tiki bird was while going through the exhibit, there was this guy who was behind me. He there. So there's one point you go through the parks portion. Like there's the parks portion was really cool. That might have been my favorite part. You go through the parks portion, and when you get to the end of the parks portion, there's like an area where there's speakers on the right and left hand side of these seats, and then there's like all these TVs, and you sit there, and it has different clips from different shows and stuff coming up there. And I was walking by, and I heard the Zorro theme, and I love Zorro, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta sit down. So I sat down, and I started listening to it, and then all of a sudden they go to the next clip, and then they go to the next clip, and I was there for probably like 10 minutes listening to these different things. And then all of a sudden there's like this guy who's like, huh, a lot of people don't go to Disney World as often as I do. I was there last month, and I'm going to be there next month too. I'm like, I was there 3 days ago. I'm going to be there in 2 days. So I was like, okay, that's weird. But while I was playing with the tiki bird, and you can't really hear in the video, I tuned down a little bit of background audio, but I could keep on hearing him go, oh, I've played with this before. I know how the tiki birds work. And I was like, okay, buddy, like, let me just play with the tiki bird. So I liked playing with the tiki bird. The tiki bird was really cool. Someone needs to make up a reason for Brent to go back to Disneyland for like a week. Yes, please, 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 please. He has no idea. Yeah, so the museum, amazing, like absolutely amazing. Turn the lights up. Unfortunately, the lights for this area, there's one over here, there's one over here, and the light switch is way over on the other side of the room. So I can't turn that off for it. All the news reactions of his passing, I was a mess. And that was the thing. So when it got to the point where you're finding out about like Walt passing away, it was so emotional. And then all of a sudden there was a kid who was like, hey, blah, blah. I was like, don't you understand? Walt Disney just died. And then actually it was funny because Frank and Daniel were starving. I was really hungry too, but I was like, I'm not leaving this museum for anything. So they actually went down the street to get food. And while they did that, I just kept on going through the exhibit, and Frank called me up and he's like, hey, where are you? And I was like, Walt Disney just passed away. I was like, I'm an emotional wreck right now. But it was so emotional. Like it was so, and I it's one of those where like a lot of the sound audios for that one I had heard before, but going through the entire exhibit and being like, oh, like I just grew up with this guy. You know, like it's kind of like watching a movie and you get close to a character for 2 hours and then the character dies. Well, this is a real person who you admire for your whole life, and you just spent like 5 to 6 hours with all of his stuff and all of his family and all of his accomplishments. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, he died. And it kind of feels like he died again, which is, it's a weird, how they did it really well. Really, 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 really well. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was really crazy how they did it. I think they will announce a Walt Disney Company interactive museum for Disney World Springs. The expo would make sense with the 100. I would love it if they brought a Walt Disney Family Museum exhibit to Disney World. Mark my words, I will quit my job and apply immediately. Like, especially, yeah. And that was one of those things too. While going through through the entire exhibit, I kept on thinking this would be the perfect job for me. Like to literally go through and be like a historian about Walt Disney. If only this was in Disney World, I was like, it'd be the perfect job for me. Yeah, if they announced that there was gonna be a Walt Disney Family Museum in Disney World, I would be the first person to apply. I would be it would be the perfect. Honestly, it would be the perfect job for me, and that's all I kept on thinking that. I kept on telling Frank and Daniel that too. I was like, this would be the ideal job. Like this would be my ideal job, to walk around and talk about Walt Disney. In addition to that, so right now for San Francisco, there's like all of these people are like breaking into the cars all the time. It's insane. And when you park there, there's signs everywhere. You know, do not leave anything in your car. No valuables. Your car will get broken into. Blah blah blah. And so because of that, we knew about it, and we called them up the day before, and we said, hey, unfortunately, we're not even like staying in the area. We're flying in that morning, going straight there. Is there any way that you can go there? Frank swears that the person knew who I was. He said they changed their tone when he said, well, I'm with Brent Dodge. I think Frank's a liar. But there's no way this random person in San Francisco is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take your luggage then. But we talked to the girl, and she was like, oh, she's like, yeah, like if you guys want to, you can, like, we'll bring your luggage down to the coat room and lock it up for you. So that's what we did. She was nice enough. She did it. And then when we were going through the exhibit, all of a sudden I was like, oh no, I forgot all my power cords in my backpack, and my phone and my camera were almost dead because we had literally just flown in that morning. And my GoPro wasn't completely plugged in the night before, so it only charged like 3%. And I was like, oh. So I was like, hey, is there any way I can go back down there? So I walked back down there with the girl, and I was like, so what got you here? And she was like, oh, my boyfriend and I are huge Disney fans. We lived in Miami, and then we flew up here. He got a job. That's not how she thought, but that's just how in reenactments, that's how she sounds. So yeah, overall, yeah, it was fun. Oh, I knew hat. Yes. So there was literally only 3. I forgot this. So this, along with the popcorn bucket and the sipper, were the only 3 things I got at Disneyland. And then at the Walt Disney Family Museum, I bought a lot of books. I purchased a lot of books, and luckily, so this is the tip for you guys. If you do not live in the state of California and you are going to the Walt Disney Family Museum, the cheapest way to buy your merchandise there is, if you are shipping out of California to a different state, you don't have to pay sales tax. We learned this. You don't have to pay sales tax. You just have to pay for shipping. So the shipping and handling for what I purchased was cheaper than what it would have been for the sales tax. So we said, oh yeah, sign me up for the shipping and handling. So I did purchase a few books. I can't remember exactly which books they are. I know I got the Jungle Cruise book. I know there was these like magazines from the 1990s about different attractions, and I was like, oh, I kind of want a few of these. So I purchased a few of those. They're like e-ticket magazine, I think it was called. So I purchased a few of those. And then I'm trying to think of what the other book was that I purchased. There was another book. And then there was like a bunch of other books that I really wanted. And it was just like, I can't spend more money than what I'm spending right now. But yeah, because of the shipping and handling, and because this is actually how I ship, is with Media Mail. If you use Media Mail for shipping and handling, it's cheaper than what regular mail is. So if you've ever purchased any of my books, then it usually comes out to be about like $3, maybe $4 tops. But if I would send it through regular mail, it'd be about $8 or $9. So Media Mail is cheaper if it's a media item. So because of that, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna just buy books and then have it shipped out to me. So it was, I think it was $8 for shipping and handling, when in reality it would have been a lot more for sales tax. So that's the way to do it. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is I have to now wait for like 2 to 3 weeks until my purchase arrives. And it's kind of killing me, because there's a few things in there that I was like, oh, I want to read about this on the plane ride home. But no, sadly no. All right, let's keep on going through questions here. Oh, what part of Disneyland do you think they should bring to Disney World? Honestly, none. I've had this question. I've had this conversation with lots of people throughout the years. I love the fact, and this is one of the things that was really weird for me about Galaxy's Edge, because it was exactly the same, like not exactly, but almost exactly the same. But one of the things I absolutely love, is the fact that to do some things, I have to go to Disneyland for it. And it's going to be a completely new, completely unique experience out there, opposed to if I was coming here every day, which I do every day. But going to Disney World every day, I get that same experience all the time. So I like when I go to Disneyland and I'm experiencing things differently, whether it's the same attraction but a different style attraction, or if it's the same, whatever. Like if it's Frontierland out there is completely different than Frontierland here. In fact, like Splash Mountain's not even part of Frontierland out there. It's part of Critter Country. So I honestly, I would not want any parts of Disneyland to come here, and vice versa. I like the idea that I can go someplace else and have a completely unique Disney experience. When they announced, or not when they announced, but when there was rumors a few years ago before Galaxy's Edge came, there was rumors that they were going to build Cars Land into Hollywood Studios, where now currently Galaxy's Edge sits. I was so upset. I love Cars Land. I absolutely love Cars Land, and I think Cars Land is so good. But I was like, I love the fact that I can go out there and do Cars Land because it makes it so much more special for me when I get to experience it out there compared to over here. But if they brought Indiana Jones right to Walt Disney World, I would be one happy. I like Indiana Jones, but I don't know. It's funny because people always talk about Indiana Jones being the best ride out there. To me, it's actually in the lower half. I think it's a fun ride, but it's not my must do. Like, the only reason we did Indiana Jones this time was because they had a lightning lane available. And I was like, okay, let's get a lightning lane for it. But usually for me, I'm like, I don't know. I enjoy it, but I just don't think it's as good, in my personal opinion. I would take pain. You know what? I would take some of the parades. Do you think they'll bring the electric parade back to Magic Kingdom? I'm like 99% positive it's gonna be coming back here. Not 100%, but I'm like 99% positive that it would be coming here. Same for me. It's a different experience at Disney World. See, yeah, I don't know. There's some things that I love. I just love, like, I love going over there and riding their Winnie the Pooh, because it's a different Winnie the Pooh than the one here. Yeah, that's the way I've always been. Oh, yeah, any other questions before we wrap this up? Let's see if you guys earned any extra innings today. I was afraid that you guys were gonna. Oh no! Not only that, we lost an inning. We started at 1,839. We're at one. We've lost a person. No! If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We lost a subscriber. Oh, that's the second time that's happened. Oh well, these things happen sometimes. Excited for Disney Plus Day? Yes. I'm very excited for Disney Plus Day. I really cannot wait for Pinocchio. They came out with a new trailer today. I've always loved Pinocchio. I think Pinocchio is a great movie. I was dating a girl at one point, and I told her that I think that Pinocchio would be a great name for a kid, and she thought it was great. Hey Pinocchio. I think I think Pinocchio is a great name for a boy. That's just me, and I'm 100% serious when I say that. I think Pinocchio is a great name for a kid. One of my friends actually named her kid Gideon from Gideon Fellfellow from Pinocchio, because she loved the name Gideon because of the movie. Maybe I was supposed to marry her. Oh, sorry, Lindsay. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry, Jeff, for saying that comment. Watching you with Pimp was hilarious. Your friend, yeah, my friend could not figure out how they were doing it. He was hilarious. He is. So my friend who is with us, he is not a big Disney guy at all. So the reason we met him was my Frank and his cousin used to go to Steakhouse 55 all the time. Steakhouse 55 is over at the Disneyland Hotel. And when they would go there, they got this regular waitress, which was our friend Con, and they got to know Con throughout the years, and they would always go to Con's table and always request for him to be the waiter. And I got to know Con throughout the years, and he actually did one, maybe two Run Disney races with us out there. But yeah, he's not a Disney fan. He's like, I don't like Disney at all, blah, blah, blah. And he's not a big Disney fan. And at the end of this day, I was like, I think he's a Disney fan now, because I was pointing out all these different details. I was like, Con, look at this. And he's like, what? He's like, they really thought of everything. So By the end of the day, I told him, because he's a local, and I was like, you need to buy an annual pass for you and your daughter. So I kind of have a feeling that maybe, hopefully, he's going to buy an annual pass because of our day at California Adventure. I think he was a huge fan, but he was in awe of Pim's Kitchen. Like, he was like blown away. He could not figure out how it was going on. How do the characters vary? Ingredients vary at Disneyland. So the character, this is what always blows my mind too. The characters over at Disneyland are not as big of a thing as they are at Disney World. At Disney World, you're like literally lined up for like half an hour, 45 minutes. At Disneyland, the characters just roam around. And if they stop by and, you want a picture, you get a picture. But it's not like here. It's not like, let's go in a line for 45 minutes to meet Mickey Mouse. It's like, hey, there's Mickey. Hey, Mickey, we're going to continue going on the rides. And I think a big part of that is Disneyland is such a hometown park. It's a park where the majority of the people who are going there are local, compared to Walt Disney World, where the majority of the people who are going are people from around the world. So they want that picture with Mickey. The people who are at Disneyland, a lot of them, it's like, oh, I saw Mickey like 2 days ago. So do I really need to go say hi to him? So yeah, it's kind of crazy how it varies. Okay, any other final questions here before we wrap up? Let's check to see, did maybe we get our person back. That doesn't count, by the way. If you unsubscribe and then subscribe, all of those is giving me miniature heart attacks. Sadly, it looks like we're not getting that subscriber here. But we're at 1,838, which is pretty good. So if anyone has any other questions, we'll answer those questions, because we've gone up 62 subscribers, I think it is, since last week. Robert, what was your question last week? I can't remember what it was. What was your question last week? And while Robert writes this question down, if anyone wants to invite anyone, so we give a few more extra innings here and get a few more subscribers and get a few more minutes. Did you have a meetup in Disneyland? Yeah, we had like 7 or 8 of us meet up. We did a lot of rides actually together. It was a day. Oh, we also did the Lion King show out there too. Are we going to do a D23 prediction show at all? I think we will. Maybe the next week or two we'll do a one. Would you rather do the Star Wars hotel or a cruise? It sounds like it might be a little of a letdown. I mean, I always love the cruises. I would love to do the Star Wars hotel at some point. So for me, I would probably say the Star Wars hotel, just because I've never done it before. But if someone gave me the option tomorrow to go on a cruise or Star Wars hotel, I'd probably choose the cruise, honestly. Because I love the cruises. I love the cruises. With the new COVID rules, how many times can you park hop a day? I haven't park hopped since before the pandemic. So at Walt Disney World, it's indefinite. People will tell you it's only 4 or 3. I've had people tell me that. I've gone during one of my crazy challenges. I went to the park. I park hopped 18 times, I think it was. So yeah, you can go as many times as you want. There's no limit. You can just keep on going and going and going. When are we going to have a meetup here? We will have a meetup sometime in the near future. Hopefully sometime in the near future. I just have to figure it out. The problem with doing a meetup here is it has to be on a weird day, because I usually work Saturdays and Sundays, and that's when most people want to do meetups. So unless people are willing to do like a Tuesday or Thursday night, we'll see. How long of a trip would you recommend to someone who has never been to Disneyland California Adventure? At least 5 days. At least a 5-day trip, if not more. At least a 5-day trip. This trip was way too short. Like, it was way too short. I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. I had an amazing time. But I didn't really get to do a a lot of relaxing because it was go, 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 go. So, yeah, I would say at least 5 days. But this was the shortest trip I've ever had to Disneyland. Usually I do 5 days, but I would say at least 5 days. I've done 7 days too. You park up at Disneyland after 1 and Disney World is after 2 o'clock. You'll do a Tuesday or a Thursday meet and greet. At least 3 days is plenty. 3 days is not enough. Let me stop you right there. No, 3 days is great, but no. You need at least 5. At least 5. Now it literally was killing me. Like I was like saying goodbye to the castle, saying goodbye to Walt, and I was just like, I just got here. Like we were leaving the park about 50. It was exactly 50 hours after we entered the park for the crazy challenge. So, yeah, it's way too short. Way too short of a time. Outside of Wisconsin plays Ohio State on my birthday. Might have to find a spot to watch it. Yes, I like that idea. Okay, any other questions here? Did we get any extra innings here? I really held on for a few minutes to hopefully get some extra innings for you guys. Boom, boom. It's still loading. Unfortunately not. But we did go 10 minutes over, or 11 minutes over what we usually do. So on that note, I would like to remind you guys that tonight's show was sponsored by... Oh, did I drop that ball too? It's all about the mouse travel. Yeah. I dropped that one too just now. Make sure you stop by. It's all about your mouse. It's all about the mousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All their services are absolutely positively 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. Okay, I'd like to thank everyone out there for joining us once again this week. Please keep on spreading the word about the Wednesday show and from Screening the Theme. And invite anyone and everyone to join the groups over on Facebook and over on the YouTube channel as well. I hate to break this to you. I really hate to break this to you. But we're nearing 2,000 subscribers. In the last week, we've gone from less than 200 away, or more than 200 away. It was like 240 away. And now we're less than 270 away. We're almost at 260 away. So keep spreading the word. Let people know. We are almost at 2,000. I would love to hit 2,000 somehow by the end of this month. So keep spreading the word. I don't know if we can do it, but I have faith that we can do it. So keep spreading the word. Keep watching those videos and all that other fun stuff. If you have not ordered your copies of A Closer Look At or A Closer Look At, or guess what? A Closer Look At, make sure you go visit the Shop Now button to order your books right now. And of course, as always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just